almost ready. All right, I'm here with Professor George Labanick in his office today. He's going to be telling us about how he uses Facebook groups in supporting his University 101 course.
A few years ago I used to use Blackboard. I still use Blackboard in the course and had students build home pages, which was a rather unwieldy activity in Blackboard. So I wanted something that was a little easier for the students to use, something they were familiar with, and something we could use to build a sense of community in the course. And Facebook fits that perfectly well. So 3 years ago we created a Facebook group, a private group, so it's only for the students in my class, and it allows us to communicate very rapidly. It allows them to learn about other students. One of their first assignments is to find, well, besides joining the group, is then to find 5 other people in the group and make friends with them on Facebook and learn something about them. And then we ask them at the beginning of class, we pick people and ask them to share about other people in the class. It allows us to post pictures of activities, so the library activity, the team building activity, we can put them in the photos area on here. So we've got a bunch of pictures on here from our library session and from the team building activity on there, which students seem to have a good time, and they comment on some of these things as well. This is also good for our peer leader who likes to organize activities for the students and can use the events activity in Facebook to set up an event and have them respond to it. So in a sense, a lot of the hard work is already created for us by the Facebook people, and we can use this easily. It's also a good mechanism for me to communicate with the students rapidly. For example, the other day I forgot to tell them in class, the morning class, to bring their test to our university class, so I just went on Facebook and posted it on the wall. And since most of them admit they spend way too much time on Facebook, they're usually very good about getting that information where they may not check their email for several days at a time. So this is a nice way that I can communicate with them, do some follow-up about class activities, congratulate them about this and that, kind of in a more informal kind of setting than we would see with Blackboard.
And so you find this works better for you than Blackboard?
For these kinds of interactions, yes. For the social aspects of the class, yes, much better than Blackboard and much easier to use. And usually everybody but maybe one person already has a Facebook account. So getting them to join the group is easy. The peer leader is also an administrator, so she can take care of a lot of the enrolling the students in the class, can also post things on here. And as I mentioned in the past, my peer leaders have tried to set up several outside activities for the students, and I've done it using the events calendar in Facebook, which requires them, in a sense, it identifies them or notifies them individually, and they have a chance to respond either yes, no, or maybe. That way the peer leader has a good idea about who's going to go, who's not going to go, or who's on the fence, and then she can contact that person individually if need be.
And so could you just reassure anyone who has privacy concerns about how you set it to be a private group and shared only with the members of your class?
Yeah, when you set up these groups, there's actually 3 different kinds of groups you can set up. One that's open to anybody, and anybody can join without doing anything about it. And a lot of Facebook groups are that way. And there's 2 that are kind of closed. There's one that's not even visible to anybody except members. And there's others that are visible to other people, at least that the group exists, but they can't belong to it unless their request to join is approved. And you can set everything on private so that nothing shows up except the group. So it's really just shared by the people in that group. And all of the individuals in the class, once they become a member of this group, their presence in the group is identified. It shows who all the members are. So if anybody in the class, this is not it. If anybody in the class wants to contact anybody else in the class with Facebook, they can certainly do that. And there we go. So there's a listing of all of our members here. So we can see all the members, and they can contact them directly with Facebook. They don't have to be friends to be able to contact them. And some of them will friend other people besides the 5 that we require them to friend. A lot of them will make some lasting relationships using either their in-class activities and through Facebook. And they learn a lot about each other as well through this kind of
What kind of feedback
medium.
have you gotten from your students about the Facebook group?
I've never had a complaint. The only complaint I've ever had was from people who didn't have a Facebook account. But beyond that, it's like, do I have to have a Facebook account? Yes. Do I have to have a picture? I said, no, you didn't have to put a profile picture up if you didn't want to. But most of them are so used to using Facebook on an ongoing basis that it's not really an issue at all. And it's so much easier to use than the home pages feature in Blackboard, in which they had trouble sizing pictures. Facebook automatically sizes pictures for them for the profile, and pictures that you post inside, that's not an issue. It's always an issue in Blackboard. So this is just a much easier medium to use for those kind of social interactions and follow-ups.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
And on spot.